Hi, I want to talk about quantum physics, but there's some other stuff is happening on the Instagram that's kind of bizarre, and it's kind of impinging or interfering with the stuff that I plan to do. Actually, I planned to talk about computation and different kinds of computation. There is only two. One is the algorithmic computation, and the other one is quantum computation, where all the calculations is done in one shot. Whereas in the algorithmic computation, everything has to be done in a step by step manner. And I think that the flow of time is really related to this observer's perception of this computation. So if the observer uh, sees the computation happening step by step, he experiences time. Whereas if the observer uh, is not really interfering, all the computation is done as a mass or millions of computations, and there is no time. Something like that, some idea. It's kind of crazy idea, but uh, well, I don't want to cut my flow of thought because all the other trash is happening. But I'll talk about those at the end of the video. Well, for example, in the Star Trek Next Generation, in the simulator, when Captain Picard goes in there, and for example, he's fighting with the Klingon, then there is a computer. The computer generates all the background, generates the Klingon, and uh, you know it interacts with Captain Picard, is fighting the Klingon. At every step, the computer generates the new moves, and it's very much a sequential event. So actually, that's the flow of time. Oh, well, I tell you why I am thinking that the flow of time is related to computation. Imagine Alan Turing computer, the simplest kind of computer, which is actually a long strip of paper, and say that there are three bands, one, two, and three. The one and two are the memory bands, and three is where the observer or the mathematician performs the calculation, and then it becomes the new memory band, and then the band uh, that will be the next calculation will advance one strip ahead. So say for example I have band 1, on it is written the number 01, which is the binary number 1, and on band 2 I have 10 written. That's number 2 in our system of calculation. So on the third band, which is the active band or the computation band, the consciousness or the observer or the mathematician adds the two memory bands and comes up to 1 1. So that's number 3 in our decimal system. But this progresses. Well, that's the simplest computer. But then also the simulator in Star Trek: The Next Generation is basically the same kind of computer, except that there are zillions of calculations being done in this same sequential manner. So then that's really there is a flow of time. Uh, well, I don't think my arguments for saying that flow of time in physics is related to the type of calculation that's being there, or it assumes that there is an observer and the observer experiences this calculation. Uh, I'm not totally sure why it's so. It's just some kind of hunch that these two are related because the observer either does the calculation or reacts to the calculation. So that's the flow of time. Whereas in a quantum computer, well, say a register has uh, many cells, all the calculations is done by these qubits in one shot. There is actually no time. There is no experience of time. Well, the only other thing that happens similar to that is when a star emits a photon. Well, the photon, because it's going at the speed of light, it doesn't experience time. Time is always frozen for the photon. It's a similar with the quantum computer. All the calculations have already been done. There's no new calculations. Uh, well, something that's similar to this is when a physicist does the double slit experiment, and he has detectors at the past the slits to detect the photons. And if he has the detectors off, then the light that has been emitted from a star in 10 billion years ago will go through the detector holes or slits, and will just produce a wave image. Whereas if he uh, turns the detector on, the detector will detect the photon, and then image that's relevant to light being a photon or a particle is made on the screen. But then the problem that many physicists have is wondering, this light or this photon was emitted like 10 billion years ago from a star, and how come it knows that it has to be a particle now that I turned the detector on? It's like the photon that was emitted 10 billion years ago had some kind of foreknowledge that it will become a particle, whereas in the previous case it didn't. It's the same kind of the feeling is the same kind of thing as the computation, that the photon for photon, the computation has had been done 10 billion years ago, all of it instantaneously, and now we only seen the results now. There is no computation done in the experiment. That's kind of, I don't think I did a good job of explaining this. Probably there is a much better way of putting these ideas, but uh, it just has that same quality that computation has. Computation and time are somehow related. Well, in the previous video, I had a video is called Event Horizon Surface and Concurrency, where I made the conjecture that all the realities they exist concurrently on the surface of this black hole, on the event horizon surface, and it's only the observer or the consciousness or people experience it as different realities. I think these ideas are very bizarre, but there's some evidence for these ideas. Actually, in one of the sci-fi movies, a spaceship falls into the black hole and it spends time on the event horizon surface, and the cosmonaut or astronaut, he sees the past and the present, and well, in his experiment, Tesla uh, was saying that he experienced the past or other realities concurrently with the current time. I think there is some evidence to point out that multiple realities, just like multiple computations, can coexist, and only when an observer or a consciousness sees that computation in a sequential manner, then there is time or a particular reality. Well, it just uh, I've gone this far with these arguments. Well, in the previous video I had on physics of Mandela effect, I was kind of going through this same thing. I had several videos on this topic, but the initial videos I made, my arguments were not as complete as the last videos. I see that my arguments or ideas had congealed, and they were much better form than before. Well, I think about these ideas, and I think they're worthwhile to kick around and kind of go back to them here and then. Well, there is another concept or idea that is very interesting. I was listening to the Sufi master, and he was saying that God isn't really part of the universe. It exists independently of the universe or of any black hole, because uh, the green light that 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 signifies life is unneedy of the universe. It had existed. Mathematics existed before there was any universe. The laws of physics existed before, and it only became manifested uh, somehow through this material world. Well, thank you for putting up with me and my bizarre ideas and philosophies. And please subscribe in my YouTube channel. It's doing horrible. I don't know. It's because I criticize Israel and the West, and I am I'm not totally banished. I can still put videos there, but something has happened to my channel. Well, I hope people give me more support than before. Actually, on Instagram, I'm getting much better support and viewership than on YouTube. On Twitter, I get on and off some viewership. Well, my audience, usually Americans, are extremely selfish and only come and visit my site when something really hits their nerves. I put the put a comment about the Pelosi and the fact that he's signing up all these big checks for Ukraine. Well, it was everything was quiet on the Western Front until after put the tweet. I suddenly the viewership jumped 96. I don't know what it is now, and then right afterwards, this idea came in the in the Congress and Senate. Uh, I don't know. I think some of the senators, some of the politicians follow me. Uh, it, this might sound bizarre, but there is such an echo chamber in the United States. I think some people who have a little bit of intelligence, they look into vlogs, and I think most of the time the Republicans they look into my tweets or videos, see what we can find to demolish Democrats. Well, I hate both Democrats and Republicans. Actually, I hate the U.S. government, and if they tomorrow they disappeared from the face of the earth, I wouldn't lose any sleep. Uh, well, for many decades, U.S. has been going to other countries and overthrowing their government, and in the last decade, with the advent of Mrs. Clinton and her husband and all the other stupid Democrats and Bush family, they have gotten into the business of killing the major political or military figures, like they killed Gaddafi, Bin Laden, and they killed. Uh, they wanted to kill Bashar Assad, and also they killed Iran's top general, General Soleimani. Uh, but I hear now that the Americans, their elite, they know that there will be retaliation. That Iran has said that we're going to kill your top general, General McKenzie, and we're going to target Trump, and they, they know that something is wrong. Uh, foreign leaders, they're not shy with Americans anymore. For example, Putin has said that we'll just nuke you. We'll nuke Finland and Western countries that cause us or threaten us. We'll just get rid of you. Well, Iran, the General Salami has said that we'll hit you anywhere that you are on the planet, and many of our hypersonic long range uh, rockets, they reach United States, they reach Europe, they reach Israel, and uh, I think that the there is a retaliation coming in. I don't know who will be the first, the Chinese or the North Koreans or Russians or Iranians. We will see. Uh, the, it's amazing how many enemies United States has made for itself. It's kind of sad, actually, that their their public isn't even conscious of it. It's like nothing is wrong, you know. I look at my son and his wife. They are well, he grew up here, and his wife. They're in oblivious to anything that has happened, and nothing bothers them or concerns them. Or I mean, World War III could start. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't care. Uh, Why watch some of these shit hit the fan movies? and it's always everything is very serene here, and until shit hits the fan. Well, the other thing that's happening is that I regularly sign up uh, to chat with women because I had a horrible relation, marriages, and then I do like women, and but there's also a lot of impersonators in in Instagram, and it's amazing how they clog the network, and I think they just steal the pictures of women and they show up. You know, I know them, a lot of them, because they never want to video chat. They always want to do text chatting. They always come up and ask for money or Steam card, or that's the time when they get all dumped. Uh, but isn't it sad that there is this whole network that has all these features like video chat. It has you can text, you can send, and these guys, I think they're like a gang, or they're clogging the whole network, make it almost impossible for a guy to meet a real girl, and a girl to meet a real guy. Yeah, it's bizarre, and uh, I don't know how we could get rid of them. It's just that I just get dump them as soon as they ask for money, or the another test is to try to video chat, and if she doesn't pick up, then the she I thought is probably a Nigerian in some boiler room in London or somewhere. These Nigerians are the worst people. I think we need God to come in and get rid of them. They'll ask for money under so many different guises. I think that the government should catch up with them, put them in prison, because they're just totally disabling a network. Well, I studied the communication networks, and initially the works of mathematician Shannon, that he talks about there could be noise in network. To some level, the network can tolerate the noise, and the messages will come in. It's like you have a bad connection, but you can still hear your party on the other side. But what if there is just so much noise, so much of these guys? They have gotten onto Instagram from Africa, from London. I think there is black or Nigerian gangs. Uh, well, the other thing that's happening on Instagram, I regularly, is all these gays. They're so persistent. The gay men, gay women, they come in and just they totally dominate my chat line. I'm saying that I get rid of at least 15, either block them or unfollow them. And usually they put up a picture of a woman, nice looking woman, and then they come in, and uh, some of the videos are very offensive. Well, I saw this one video that it showed a grown gorilla. It was in the jungle somewhere, and it also showed a baby gorilla, or it was must have been a teenager gorilla, and the teenager gorilla would go behind the older gorilla and stick his finger up his ass. So a couple of times the older gorilla tried to whack him, and then he saw that it doesn't do any good. He got off the branch and started following, trying to beat up the. It's like they're saying that, uh, oh, this gay lifestyle is normal. Look, animals do it too, and oh, you- you're all sick. But why are you in my channel? Why are you? Why can't you just go somewhere? Go away. I think that their culture, their beliefs, their lifestyle is completely dying out because the social networks, they are like a peer to peer. Like for example, when I become friend, say with Jennifer Aniston, okay, it's uh, I'm friend with her. This is like one line, and it's going with from me to her and from her to me. There is no TV station that broadcasts these things everywhere. It's not. There's just one. So even though the whole network is clogged with these idiots, well, if there is one connection that's good, that space is still private space. So I mean, I was talking to this lady. She's like a blonde, and she was very Christian. I was trying to play her, seduce her, and she became very defensive, as if like we are in a public place. And then I told her, "Hey, this is a private place. This is nobody's here. You don't have to act out." And she just completely changed. I could chat with her. I want to get close to her. I want to be friends with her, or whatever. Well, you know what happens if in the well, it is like that now, but in the future will be much more the same, that all lines of communication, all media is peer to peer. There is no guys, no interviewer. There's nothing. So what will happen to Hollywood, where everybody is broadcasting all their sickness or their little uh, uh, this culture is nothing but doomed to death. The gay culture, the culture of fear making, like serial killers, where they gonna go? Because there's only limited limited audience of one person, and unless you put the stuff on YouTube, then yeah, you could have many audiences. But when you're chatting, there is nobody else. And I mean, even if like a woman, she sent me her picture of her tits. Well, but there's so many pictures of tits in the internet, in YouTube. It's not like in 1940s. Well, I won't do nothing with the picture of her tits. It's just like having privacy, because there is only one person that you chose to be close to is on the network with you. I just think that this a lot of the things are going to die out. A lot of things that they are offensive. They are, for example, besides gay, there is also stuff that's like that gorilla video. Uh, well, the observer, or me, or consciousness of somebody who's in the receiving end, he has a choice, and I take that choice. I'll just shut them out. I will block them. I will. So it's not like a TV or radio. You have it on. well, the only way you can stop this message from coming through, if it's offensive, is to get up and turn every message off, or turn the whole TV off. But it's not like that in Instagram or Twitter. You can shut off some of the images. You can be selective, and I think that this ability uh, to turn things off is going to also turn off many cultures and many things, even fake religions, from finding acceptance in society. I don't know. I think, and I think that really interesting is, I noticed, is that if you have a talent, well, or a tendency. For example, I like blondes, and I find thousands of blondes on internet, and I discovered that the interest is quite mutual. It's not, well, before in the old media, like or in the bar, I would go. I always had the suspicion or thinking that I am interested in her, but she probably isn't interested in me. But then after Instagram, I noticed that also a lot of women are interested in me. It's not just me. It's not, but not only the communication becomes private, and people are not, women are not afraid to speak freely or interact freely, but also uh, there is freedom, freedom from other cultures. For example, when I used to go into the bars or disco or dance video, and I was talking to a girl or something, there's always some idiot come in and like behave in an obnoxious way or cut in, but the new media has cut that out. I think those guys, they are a dying breed, and the society can just walk away from them. I don't know. It's just the kind of suspicion I have that maybe a lot of cultures will die out just because the way the media is. Well, thank you very much for being in my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and please pay attention to my YouTube channel. It's really subscribers are very limited over there, and well, I don't know. I have the suspicion that YouTube really is owned by Zionists or Jews, or what is going on with them. Well, last week, Twitter got bought out by Elon Musk, and well, I think Trump is coming, has come back or is coming back to Twitter. Well, he's gonna have a little time in Twitter, but I don't think he will get elected. I do believe he's going to get assassinated. We'll see. He might be on Twitter another month and then get popped. Thank you again. Please don't be shy. Leave comment, and also if I'm chatting with you, you're a nice girl, and I like you, and you like me. Uh, None of the stuff that's on the in the chat it will ever go anywhere else. It's like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and there is no incentive on my part to take your comments or pictures or anything anywhere. It's, it's simply between us. Thanks.